Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it was forwarded to me by one of our admins, and the message reads like this. Brother Nashi, how are you? Good morning. I have been listening to the stories that you post, and I have been inspired to share my own story. I am a senior teacher in Gauteng, and we had a spiritual problem at our school. There was one lady colleague who made our life to be so difficult. At first, I didn't know that she was the one who was behind all of those spiritual attacks until the day that she finally attacked me. I am a God-fearing man and a very hard worker. Every morning at work, I would encourage everyone to pray before we started school. I didn't know that this had an impact on her, and it affected her very badly. To me, before I do anything, I pray, because this is the way that I was raised by my parents. In the beginning of anything, I pray. I can even hear my mother's words ringing in my head. So one day, it was in the morning, we got to school and all was well, till one child fell down. And when that child fell down, the child started to behave in a very strange way. The child was moving up and down as if it was a snake. I knew that these were not seizures, so I took my Bible and called upon the name of Jesus Christ, and suddenly everything just stopped. It was as if nothing had happened. We continued with life, and as usual, chasing deadlines, setting exams and marking those exam papers. The second attack happened. This was when the kids were in class. Then one child just got out of class and started to scream. The child screamed so much, and the way that the child was screaming, it was really scary. You could not even stand there whilst you watched that child as it was screaming. And the child was saying, "Please leave me alone. Please let me go. Why are you troubling me? Please leave me. Please let me go." And the way that this child was screaming, the voices were not the same, because in one instant, the child would speak as if it is just a newborn baby that is still learning how to speak. Then in another instant, the child's voice will just change and it will become like an adult voice. Then the voice will return back to normal. There was so much confusion in the school, and some more two kids from the same class started rolling their eyes, speaking in a very strange language. And the way that they were talking, there are these other people that speak in very strange tongues. That is the same tongues that were used by those kids when they were speaking in that strange language. They were then taken in a private room, and that same lady said that we should not pray, but we had to wait for them to calm down. I still knew what I was supposed to do, and deep down in my heart, something told me that I had to keep on praying and not stop praying. We prayed, and some other teachers who are believers came to join the whole fiasco. The demons disappeared, and this lady disappeared when we started to pray. She just said that she had forgotten something that was very important in her office. When she went to her office, she spent a really long time there in her office. I don't know what she was doing there, and she only returned back to us after the children had returned back to normal. Life went on, and I realized that this lady teacher, she didn't like me at all. She was diplomatic about it, but I realized that she was very diplomatic about it. The way that she was really kind to me, the way that she was kind to me, it was fake. When someone pretends to be very kind towards you, you can just feel it in your body that this person is just pretending to you. From the look of things, I was the one standing on her way, and she really wanted to eliminate me. On this day, we had a meeting, and as we were about to close the office doors, after a long cold day, she quickly brought us coffee in the staff room. She gave all of us the coffee, and I took mine and I drank without even thinking about it. I left the school, rushed back home. Within 15 minutes, I was home, and I remember the events very well. It has been a long day, and I had only ate 2 slices of plain bread in the morning. This was at around 10. The time was around 3 when I drank that coffee. I arrived home, and by the packing, I felt that something was indeed wrong with me, but I just brushed it off, went inside the house, sat on the couch, and I felt that things were now overtaking me. I started to feel very hot. My stomach felt as if a knife was cutting my intestines. I felt like vomiting, but I failed to vomit. I was alone, and within a few minutes, it escalated from 0 to 100. I only crawled to the kitchen cupboard, and I slowly opened the cupboard and managed to get activated charcoal. Time was not on my side, and at this point I could not even stand up. I felt so weak in my knees because I needed to put water in the charcoal. All that I managed to do was to open the bottle and add as much charcoal as I could swallow. Then I just passed out. That coffee, my brother, it was poisoned, and the person who had given me this coffee, it was that same lady teacher. I knew her. She hated me so much, and I was standing in her way. She really wanted me out. My brother, I just want to tell you that it is true. This thing that is called slow poison, it is out there. And those people, whenever they bewitch you using slow poison, you will never even suspect. But in my case, it seemed as if she had given me overdose of that slow poison. I woke up 3 hours later. My shirts were very wet. I had been sweating. I was confused at first. Then I realized that I was at home. My tummy was aching. I called my brother, and he rushed with me to the hospital. And when we were at the hospital, they confirmed that yes, this was a kind of food poisoning, and the poison was a very fast one. The doctor was grateful that I had eaten charcoal because it had saved me, but my intestines were damaged, and they found traces of poison in the liver too. I stayed in the hospital for about 4 days. All my other colleagues came to visit me, except for that one lady. We went back to work, and upon arrival, the lady failed to look at me right into my eyes. I am not a suspicious person. I know what I am talking about. The following day, she could not even come to work. Then the next week, she took a study leave. After the study leave, she then decided to transfer to another school. Had it not been the Lord on my side on that day, I could have died. The only thing that I keep on thinking about, my brother, is that if I ever get the opportunity to speak with that lady without ever accusing her, the only thing that I would want to ask her is, why did she do it? Because as far as I knew, I thought that I was really good towards all of my colleagues. But my brother, sometimes when there are opposing forces that will be fighting against each other, there are people who can even end up hurting you. So I just want to tell people to be very careful of this thing that is called slow poison. And when they inject that slow poison in your food, you will never even suspect. I think the reason why I ended up surviving, it was because she put an overdose in my coffee. This is what my pastor told me. He told me that he suspects that the lady put an overdose in the coffee. For if she had not put an overdose in my coffee, then slowly but surely I was going to die from this charm called slow poison. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me. If you have any story that you want to share with me about this thing called slow poison, please do not hesitate to contact us via our email address. Then we will share your story on this platform.